I try to do it. I try to like, hey, I'm going to start off, I'm going to show you this. So the problem is a ball swinging in a vertical circle like this. Now, this is not the right way to do it because I want it moving at a constant angular velocity, which you'll notice that this doesn't do, right? It goes faster at the bottom. So imagine that I have this going at a constant angular velocity, okay? And I want to calculate the tension at the bottom of the swing and at the top of the swing. Okay, so let's just get to it. So I have my picture right here. It's a 200-gram mass on an end of a 1.5 meter long string, and the angular velocity is 0.5 revolutions per second. Let's just start at the top. So if I want to find the tension, it's not a work energy problem, right? Because the tension doesn't do any work on the ball because it's perpendicular to the direction of motion for the most part. So I have to use Newton's second law. So let's use Newton's second law and say F net is mass times acceleration. Now, once you write that down, you need to draw a force diagram. So let's draw a force diagram at the top of the swing right here. So here's my mass. I'll put it right here. I know I have a gravitational force pulling down because we're on Earth. And then I have the string. Strings can only pull in the direction of the string, so that would have to be this way. Let's call that T1 because we're going to have another tension too. So it's at position 1. The next thing I want to do is to pick my x and y axis. So at this point, I'm going to pick this as my x and that as my y. And the trick is you want to pick a coordinate system such that your acceleration is either in the x direction or the y direction. Okay, if it's not in one of those two, it's going to make it a lot harder. But here it's obvious it should be in the y direction. Now I can write down my two equations. I can say F net in the x direction is mass times acceleration in the x direction, but it's not accelerating that way. It's moving at a constant speed, but it is changing direction. So there's a circular acceleration. But in the x direction, it's 0, which is fine because there's no forces in the x direction. Why did I even write that? I'm just trying to be thorough here. Now I can write F net in the y direction. So I have two forces in the y direction. T1 is in the negative y direction, and mg, the gravitational force, is in the negative y direction. Notice right here I wrote them as vectors because they are vectors, but now I'm writing the y components of those vectors. That's why there's a negative sign now. This is going to be equal to the mass times acceleration. Now, but because it is moving in a circle, then it's going to accelerate towards the center of the circle. So we can write this as negative MAC. So if I have something moving in a circle, I can write AC is V squared over R, the radius of the circular motion. But remember, V is equal to omega times R. That's true for any object moving in a circle where that's the speed of the object, and that's the angular velocity, and that's the radius. So since I have the angular velocity, I want to use this. If I plug that in right there, I get AC is going to be omega squared R squared over R. I just put in V squared that, and then that cancels, so I get omega squared R. So you could calculate the velocity, but I'm just going to write it like this. So this equation becomes negative T1 minus mg is negative m omega squared R. Now, I do have another problem. This is in revolutions per second. In order to get this to work, I have to have, it's really in order to get this to work, omega has to be in radians per second, and that has to be in meters. And that will give me a velocity in meters per second. Otherwise, things don't work out unit-wise. So that's pretty easy to do. Let's just say omega is 0.5 revolutions per second. And then I want to convert that to radians, so it's 2 pi radians is 1 revolution. I'm multiplying by the quantity 1 because it's a fraction, and the revolutions cancel. So if I put this all together, I can solve for t. That's what I want. I'm going to add that to the other side and add that to both sides, and I get t1 is going to be equal to m omega squared r minus mg. So let's put in our values. I had a mass of 200 grams. I can factor that out, but let's just put it in. So I have 0.2 kilogram for the mass. Omega squared is this, so it's going to be, I'll put it all in here. Well, I have 0.5 times 2 is 1, so it's just going to be pi squared. And then I have r is 1.5 minus 0.2 times 9.8. So let's go ahead and calculate that calculator stuff. and then we'll do the second part. Calculator on, drop. 0.2, enter. Pi squared times 1.5 times, and then I have that other thing, 0.2, enter, 9.8 times, minus, and I get 1. Now, just think for a second. What would it mean if this value was greater than that and I got a negative tension? It would mean you can't do it with a string, okay? That would mean it's going too slow for the string to pull down. If you have it on a stick, it just means your force is in the wrong direction. So you could have this on a stick going really slow and there's a force pushing up. That is possible, okay? So 1 Newton for T1, let's put that up here. T1, the magnitude was 1 Newton. Now let's go down here to the bottom. At the bottom, there's only 2 things that change. Number 1, if I redraw my diagram, the tension is now pulling up. T2. And number 2, the acceleration is in the positive y direction because that's towards the center of the circle. So f net x is still equal to 0. I can just change this up. I'm going to put this as T2, and that's going to be plus. That's the only difference. So let's solve this again. So now I just want to solve that equation for T2. I'm going to put in my same expression for omega. So I get T2 is going to be mg plus m omega squared r. That's it, right? Because I moved that to the other side of the equation. I put in my value for AC, omega squared r, and I'm done. So let's put in our values. 0.2 times 9.8 plus 0.2 times pi squared times 1.5. Calculator. 0.2, enter. 9.8 times 0.2, enter. Pi squared times 1.5 times. And I get, oh, I messed up. Drop. Okay, do it again. 0.2, enter, 9.8 times. Stop. 0.2, enter, 3.14 squared times 1.5 times plus. And I get 4.9 newtons. So if you were swinging a ball around in a vertical circle, this tells you something. If you're moving at a constant velocity, or even if you're not, because it's going to be going faster at the bottom anyway. If the string was to break, if you had a very weak string, it's probably going to break at the bottom, right? Because that's where the tension is the maximum. Because at that point, the tension has to pull up and gravity is pulling down. At the top, the tension's pulling down and gravity is also pulling down, so they add together. So the tension at the top is going to be a lot lower than at the bottom. If it's going to break, it's going to be at the bottom. The end.